as I'm like 2 minutes late to start running the class. So it's like, yeah, as long as it's in there, because you want it to be digesting in and around that time. In an optimal environment, I would say don't be digesting anything before training. So come in with an empty stomach, meaning you might have had a little something to eat 2 hours before, and then I would have some protein straight afterwards, and a liquid form is quite convenient. But it doesn't have to be. If you are looking to maximize muscle gain and those things, liquid protein is a great option, fast absorb.
If you go to a sustaining class, you haven't eaten all night, you still come on the empty stomach.
Yep. I choose to. I like to train, yeah. And I mean, it's something we play around with. We do a bit of fasting ourselves intermittently. I can happily train on an empty stomach for quite a while and not eat until the afternoon and get good performance out of it. So yeah, again, it comes down to what the goal set is. Are you looking to maximize muscle gain? Are you looking to maximize gut health? Are you looking to maximize energy levels? Thanks, girls. Cheers. There's those questions, but
in that context, do you guys share a philosophy, have a philosophy that sits in around your fight move side of things that is complementary?
From a nutrition perspective? Yeah, we do. We've experimented a lot ourselves with different things, paleo, keto, these sorts of things. I think for me, what I keep coming back to is not eating shit and reducing sugar and alcohol. That's really the main things. I find like protein intake, that's always adequate. There's animal products in there. Whether I have more carbohydrates or a little bit less, it's like, nah, I feel pretty good with some carbs. I tend to eat carbs only as I need them. So if I'm doing high intensity training, I'll have some carbs. If I'm doing more flexibility and more strength work, I won't eat that many. But really it comes down to, really high quality produce and trying to find local and local producers and more sustainable type choices.
And seasonal. I think when it comes to like the whole paleo diet, you have to look at how adaptable the human is and in how many different environments it's thrived in. And you look at people or Inuits that are only on a mostly meat and fat diet, and then you compare them to a Polynesian who's potentially never had red meat in their life, but all of them are healthy, So it's hard to say you got to eat chicken or you got to eat meat or whatever it is. I think you have to be intuitive, and if you're eating something that sits well for you, that gives you energy and it's not making you lethargic or tired or giving you a rash or an itchy throat or whatever, then that's the right food for you, And that can change, because if you're eating that every day for 5 years back to back, then there's a certain amount of toxin that comes with that food, and the body builds an intolerance, But everything in the natural world is seasonal, even animals. You might go into one area and it's thriving with berries, and that brings a certain bird, and then you go in and you eat those berries and you eat the bird, and then the berries disappear and the birds go with them, and all of a sudden your diet changes with that. So the problem we have now is that we have accessibility to certain products all year round, year back to back, and a lot of these products we don't even know we're eating. You get corn and creams and stuff that you put on your skin and lip balm, soya and all kinds of different products that your protein drinks and the rest of it, that you're exposing your body to on a day-to-day basis, and this is where it becomes problematic. So personally, I think growing your own vegetables and fruit, if you can, is one of the best ways to start balancing out that kind of stuff, getting an idea of what is seasonal, going to shop in the fruit market and going for the cheaper produce, because that's usually the stuff that's travelled the least amount of distance and there's a plentiful supply of it. And stopping yourself from buying products like bananas in midwinter, because you have to have banana with a protein shake every day back to back for however many years.
Jamie Oliver said it was essentially that recipe.
Yeah, exactly. So I think seasonal is a really easy way to work around building toxic levels of shit in the system. Fermented foods are also very good. It's kind of stuff, making a kombucha.
Fasting side of things?
Pardon me?
Intermittent fasting?
I like it. I like it. I use it, when I feel I don't have a real schedule to it, but I might skip breakfast and wait until the afternoon, if I feel like I don't really need to eat. But then sometimes I do wake up and I'm like, no, I want to eat. I had a big day yesterday, a lot of training. I want to get some food in, But I do think from a human perspective, it's very important to understand that you shouldn't be with food all the time. You should be able to separate yourself from it and not have such an emotional connection to it. Which is hard. Like, I battle with that myself, I'm sucking on coffee and eating chocolate and, it's like, yeah, okay, cool, fuck. I realize that that's a vice and sometimes I'm going to distance myself from that. But then also allow yourself to appreciate it as well, because that's one of the cool things about being a modern human, Did you really ask
I think that's an answer. I was like, it sounds like you're doing fasting a bit ad hoc. Like, what have you actually gotten out of it? Like, when you do it? Do you do it for a prolonged period, like a day or half a day?
No, I'll just do like half a day. I won't eat breakfast and then I'll eat, that afternoon, like a late lunch.
I don't think skipping meals are a bad thing. I think what you eat after you skip the meal is what ciphers whether it's bad or not. Because a lot of the times when you're hungry, first thing you're going to grab is energy-rich food, and you'll take that over nutrient-rich food as well. When your body hungers for nutrients, it also, when you're nutrient deficient, your body gets hungry. So you register that nutrient deficiency as energy deficiency, and then all of a sudden you're reaching for shit that's not going to satisfy that hunger, and this is where things become unstuck. I think it's very important to be able to recognize the difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger, and when you can recognize what physical hunger is, know what your body is hungry for, Is it aminos, proteins or fats, or is it vitamins and minerals or whatever, And start with the good stuff first, and if you're still hungry after that and you need a little bit of energy, then take a little bit of energy in. Or if you feel like you just want to reward yourself with a beer and some chocolate, then do it. But make sure you have all the nutrients already in place first, so then you can quell a little bit of that hunger, and then you know what's left is emotional,
Supplementation, so vitamins, fish oils, that sort of things. Yes, no?
I think it depends on. I try to get as much as I can out of whole foods, and if I feel like I'm not getting it through those areas, because obviously food comes down to preparation. So if you've got good food prep, then I think you need less supplementation. If your food prep is not on point, then at these points when life gets busy, then having a 180 nutrition and chucking some stuff into that, and vitamin, multivitamins, things like that, it's not going to do any harm. Yeah. So for me personally, I kind of vary it.
Going back to the fasting, does it not encourage the body to store fat because it goes into starvation mode?
It's funny. There can be that effect. But generally, I would say no. With intermittent fasting, if it's done correctly and if you are providing quality nutrients, at kind of the right times, then the body understands, oh, okay, this is a time of, no food, and then I'm going to get some later on. But, on the flip side of that, people who go to, say, a strict, like a real abrupt calorie deficient diet, like they're like, I want to lose weight, I'm going to cut all my portions to a quarter of the size. That sometimes might send the wrong message to the body, and then it will be like, well, I'm going to fucking hold on to everything I got because you're starving me now. You know what I mean? So the intermittent fasting thing is more choosing a long duration between meals, but still making sure you're getting the same amount of calories and a lot of quality food, just at a different time.
Yeah.
So there's strategies there. And again, these things are just tools, and there is no one tool that works for every person. So it is a process of research for the individual.
Yeah, I think it's good to experiment with. And again, it's not the fasting that's going to put on weight, it's the shit that you eat after you fast. It's going to put on the weight.
The body will hold on to the fat because it'll be like, I need this, I might not get fed for a while.
Yeah.
And just a thing on supplements from the last question, I think for a lot of people, they'd be better off spending more money on high quality produce than on powders and potions
Yeah.
and stuff. Assuming all of that's optimized, then supplements should be looked at, you know? Magnesium, fish oil, whatever, you know? And I usually think it's best to go and speak to a professional about it. I like, for myself, magnesium, I like fish oil, I take those, I take some turmeric and some probiotic type stuff, and they work well. I think, I can honestly say I've never taken a supplement and been able to tell if it's really helped me or not. But, you know, from the amount of research I've read and the amount of professionals I've worked with, they all say, yeah, magnesium's awesome, you should take it a lot. You know, it's super important, and it's hard to get through food these days with modern farming techniques.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to the style of training you're doing too. How much damage are you doing to your body in your training session, and how fast do you have to get that body back into a point where it can benefit from that training, and then expose it again. You know, so if you can accelerate that process. I know if I go for a phase of like heavy lifting, plus I'm sparring, I'm rolling around that time at the same time, then I'll intuitively just start looking for more fuel, you know, and I'll go to the quality stuff first. Yeah.
Ice cream and cakes and biscuits and quality stuff.
One question before I go. Would
Sure.
you guys mind if we post on the tribe, you know, just some recommendations for like books or whatever, you know, 'cause I know that everybody, so I'm intrigued by the amount of knowledge collectively to you guys, and we all pick your brains at different times or whatever. But without you guys sounding like you're trying to sell everything and promote, you know, things and whatnot. You know, like I'd be interested to see, you know, like you said, there's some author before or whatever. Like, are you guys open for us to reach out? And
Fuck
do
yeah.
that? Yeah.
I'd love you to ask that question.
Yeah, we're always
There's so much out there.
yeah.
And we obviously, you know, like what you guys are teaching. So we'd like to see where you guys have got, you know, some of those.
Yeah, for sure. And if there's anything that everyone else is like delving into and reading, we're always really keen to get some of that back too.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and the more questions on the tribe group on Facebook, the better, because it's an open forum.
yeah.
So you ask something, and all the other 200 people on there can benefit from
Yeah.
that exchange of information.
Alright.
Do it.
Thank you. Thanks for today. See you.
Thanks, Seth.
Well, I actually thought there's a few more questions in there, but I thought maybe we could just wrap it up here formally, and we can just, you know,
Yeah,
get
Phil.
some coffee, have a drink. We can chat informally from here on. It's getting a bit chilly. It's after 4 o'clock. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. We'll hang around for a bit.
Yeah. Thanks for coming down, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks everyone for coming.